Let's go, girls. Welcome to Talk Wealthy to Me. I'm Michelle Taylor, founder of Women in Wealth. From breaking money myths to building wealth and achieving financial freedom, we're here to empower you to create your own path. Talk Wealthy. Now, join the conversation and let's change the way women think and feel about money. Okay, ready? Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Talk Wealthy to Me. I'm Michelle Taylor, your host. And today I want to talk about wealth habits and how they've changed my life. My life really did change when I stopped chasing wealth and started embodying it. Not overnight, not with one big moment, and not because I magically became more disciplined. That definitely has taken practice. But my life changed because I built habits, small, repeatable actions that shifted my mindset, my confidence, and ultimately my net worth. Today, I want to share those 7 wealth habits that completely transform my financial life with you. And hopefully, they can help you as well. These are habits I teach my clients, the ones I use daily, the ones I'm hoping to teach to my kids and other young people around me, and the ones that help women actually feel wealthy, not just look wealthy on paper. Get comfortable because this episode is personal, practical, and very powerful. So, habit number 1, and really this is just talking about how do you track what you're working towards. So, when you're talking about a goal, you need to start with the habit that changes everything. And that is tracking your net worth every single month. And this is one that scares most women at first, but it shouldn't. Net worth is not a judgment on yourself or others. It's a measurement. And when you track it consistently, you stop making emotional decisions and start making informed ones. So often when I'm talking to other women, they'll say, I can't wait until I have enough financial security that I don't have to pay attention to my numbers. And I stop them in their tracks because that never happens. In fact, the more successful and secure you feel in your finances, the more you should be checking those. When I first started tracking my net worth, the number was a lot lower than I wanted it to be. But instead of panicking or feeling insecure, something surprising happened. I felt empowered because for the first time, I could see what was growing, what wasn't, and where my decisions were taking me. I've had clients, like I said, say to me, I avoid looking. I don't want to look under the hood because I'm scared. I don't want to look at what I don't feel proud of. But when they finally track it and say, why in the world didn't I do this sooner? That makes me feel so good because net worth is truly what gives you clarity. Clarity is what truly gives you confidence, and confidence is most definitely what is going to give you wealth. So, habit number 2 is all about paying yourself first. And this habit is oh so simple, but life-changing. When I say pay myself first, I mean pay yourself first always. Before paying your bills, before spending, before anything else, money goes to my future. Now, this can include investing, retirement, savings, and long-term goals. But here's the very interesting and alarming thing. Most of us pay ourselves last. We give, we spend, we support, we handle everything that life throws at us, and then whatever is left becomes savings or for us. Wealthy women are reversing that. They automate their investing, they automate their savings, and they make their future a non-negotiable. The only way to do that is by paying attention to your doorstep before anyone else's. Remember, paying yourself first is not selfish. Let go of the guilt. It is so critical to setting yourself up for success. Paying yourself first is stewardship. It is taking care of what you have been blessed with. And when you make it a habit, your wealth will grow quietly and consistently in the background. And like I've said so many times, when your wealth is growing and working for you, even while you're sleeping, you are winning the game. Habit number 3 is something you guys have heard me talk about so many times, and that is setting a weekly or monthly money date. Now, this is one of my favorite habits because it changes your relationship with money in the softest, kindest way. Every week, usually on Sundays, and maybe that's because that's what I watched my own mom do, sit down and give yourself a money date. If you're married, make that money date something that you're doing with your husband or partner. And set aside, at the very least, 15 minutes. And in that 15 minutes, I want you to look at your accounts. Think about your goals. And it doesn't have to be the goals that you're shooting for in 5 years. Those aren't going to change much over the course of a week or even a month. But look at those short-term goals, the things you're tracking for vacations, paying off debt, or saving up for the holidays. Then check your spending. Look at all of the places that money is leaving you and where it's going. This is so oftentimes where I'm catching small things. Maybe it's something that's an automated payment that I had canceled. And if I'm not paying attention to it, it's getting lost in the noise. And that's money that is being thrown into the wind. You want to look for any little tweaks that need to be made to get yourself on a better path in the week coming or to celebrate the wins. And that's the really big part here. You want to make sure that when you do something well, give yourself a minute to pat yourself on the back and celebrate that. It is not easy making good decisions over and over again. And now, with that, don't be too hard on yourself if you may find some places where great decisions were maybe not being made. Overall, checking these and making adjustments is the win. So celebrate that. Remember, this is not stressful and it's not overwhelming. It is grounding. The truth is, women carry so much financial anxiety simply because they avoid their money. And I can speak from a place of true transparency and say that was me. I didn't want to look at something and feel bad, so I turned a cheek and kept going. And it got me nowhere fast. Because when you combine gentle awareness with weekly consistency, fear disappears, uncertainty disappears, and it's a good gut check. And we all need that. It doesn't matter how successful you are or how good you feel about what you're doing and what you're building. Checking in with yourself on anything that you're holding yourself accountable to is a game changer. So, a weekly money date is not about perfection. It's about presence. Curl up on a quiet Sunday morning, or not so quiet if you have kids like I do and a dog and a husband. But nonetheless, give yourself just a few minutes, pour a cup of coffee, and really get into the weeds and figure out what needs to be tweaked. Okay, so habit number 4 is all about leveraging tax strategy, which I think is something that so many of us are not doing to the best of our abilities. And that's nothing that anyone should feel insecure about. We are all taught that taxes are scary from the very beginning instead of really diving in and learning what tools are at our disposal. So let's stop fearing taxes and start strategizing around them. And admittedly, this habit took time. It took time for me. It's taken time for every client that I've ever worked with. But it is a habit that has the ability to change your financial trajectory. I know it did mine. For years, I saw taxes as something to survive, something I dreaded, something I didn't understand, and something that felt unfair, something I reacted to at the end of the year. But wealthy people don't treat taxes that way. And as much as we talk about it and hear about some of the very wealthy people in this country and how little they pay, it's a natural reaction to think, well, that's not fair. The reality is, guys, they're not doing anything that you can't do. Now, unfortunately, some of these things take money to implement, But there are a lot of things that you can be doing that are part of the same playbook. We just need to flip the script. The IRS tells us ways to save money and really spends most of their time doing just that. However, when we think about what they're telling us, it's all the ways they're taking from us. Spend some time really understanding the small, low-hanging fruit opportunities that are often missed. Treat your taxes like a strategy, a partner, a planning tool. Think about driving a car. When it comes to taxes, the worst place to look is in the rearview mirror. Probably a lot like a lot of things in life. We want to make sure that you're looking through the front window. We want to make sure that we are planning ahead and not reacting to something that we probably have very little control over to begin with. When I shifted from a W-2 thinking mindset to thinking like an investor, literally everything changed. I learned how legal tax strategy works, how business owners structure their income, how to build deductions ethically, how to use tax-advantaged accounts, and how to reduce taxable income without reducing wealth. Now, you may hear so much on social media, as we all do nowadays, and a lot of the strategies that are out there are amazing tools as long as they are appropriate for you. So make sure when you're walking through any of this, if you hear something that is enticing, partner with somebody to let you know if it's in fact a move that you should make. I realized a long time ago that wealthy households are not getting lucky with their taxes. They're getting educated, they're planning, they're strategic, and they are not waiting until January or February to think about what they may owe. If you've been scared of taxes, overwhelmed by them, or feel like you're paying too much, you probably are. And that can change with the right education, asking the right questions, and being an advocate for yourself. Creativity and proactivity are definitely the key to change and success when it comes to taxes. Okay, habit number 5, protecting your wealth. This is by far the least glamorous habit that I'm going to talk about, but maybe the most important one. Protecting your wealth means having the right insurance in place, having a will or a trust, having legal documents, having boundaries, and having structure overall when it comes to anything in your financial world. Protection is what prevents you from rebuilding your life again and again. I unfortunately have watched too many high-earning women get hit with unexpected emergencies that wipe out everything they've built, not because they weren't successful, but because they weren't protected. Protection is the foundation wealthy women stand on. It's the habit that turns short-term success into long-term stability. And so often, if you aren't double-checking on the things that are there to protect you when some of life's worst things come your way, you may find yourself with nothing and having to rebuild wealth for a second time because of something that was avoidable. Now, we don't know what those things are, and oftentimes those bills are the hardest to pay. If you are W-2, those deductions around short and long-term disability or life insurance, those feel like they're eating away, and God willing, you never see the fruition of proper planning come into action. But I can promise you that if you do, it's a game changer. If someone passes away in your family, you're not going to work on Monday morning. How do you know that you're protecting your family, their livelihood, and not allowing a financial burden to be something else they're dealing with when they're dealing with something unexpected like a loss? It's a disruptor, even a disability. Your kids may not be able to go to the schools they once went to or be involved in the activities that they were excited about. And that's avoidable. So I always tell people when you're doing insurance audits and looking at what's out there, car insurance, all of these things, I hope it's the absolute worst money you've ever spent because you never need to call on them. But if you do, this will be the best money that you spent. Pay attention to how you own your assets. And I'm talking to you girls out there that may have teenage drivers that are under their insurance policies. All of these things are so important. Now, when it comes to wills and trusts, that is next level. I can speak from personal experience that losing someone and then having to deal with a messy situation on the back end makes everything else so much harder. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that these conversations are fun to have, but like having a money date, sit down with your spouse or the people that rely on you that are of age, certainly. You don't want to scare any of the young kids in your life, but anybody that needs to know, make sure that they know what happens when you pass away, or if something were to happen that they needed to step in and help. Make sure that your family knows who's helping with the kids, who's managing the assets, who can access the assets, what happens to them. These are all things that I promise you are a gift that will keep giving long into the future. And like my dad always used to say, I hope you live to 109 and the last voice you hear be mine. And while that warms my heart to think about, you need to pretend that that won't happen and set the people that you love up for an easy transition into an unknown world. Okay, habit number 6 is a bit more fun. Learn with other women. When women get together, amazing things happen. This habit is emotional, powerful, and deeply transformative. I don't know about you all, but when I'm learning with other women, it just seems to be easier, more something I'm looking forward to. And I know I learned wealth faster and more confidently when I started learning with other women and asking what they were doing instead of trying to figure it out all alone. Yeah, the tools are there, but why not reach out and have conversations with your circle that you already know, like, and trust? There is something truly magical that happens when women talk openly about money. Change the conversations, ladies. I know it's not as much fun in the beginning to talk about money at a happy hour instead of talking about life and our work and our kids and shopping. But when you start talking about money, you'll be amazed at what happens and how your group of friends as a whole transforms. Shame disappears, fear melts, your confidence will grow, and shockingly enough, opportunities will appear, ones that may have never come to fruition had you not had the conversation. Knowledge always multiplies. Women are relational learners. We grow faster in community. And I know when I surround myself with financially minded women who are investing, saving, building businesses, and making powerful decisions, my entire world expanded. Wealth is not meant to be built in isolation. It's not fun. It grows in conversation, connection, and community. And community is something that most women I know are already really good at. And as we wrap this up, habit number 7, and that's building a lifestyle that you don't need a vacation from. Sounds pretty good, right? It doesn't mean that it's not going to be hard or tiresome, but this is my favorite habit because it speaks to the heart of what wealth really is or should be. For almost my entire adult life, as long as I can remember, I worked hard, I pushed hard, and I lived in cycles of complete and utter burnout. I looked forward to vacations or time away because I needed them to recover. But true wealth isn't about escaping your life. It's about building a life that you love living. Today, wealth looks different. It looks like saying yes to the things that matter the most to me. It's saying yes and experiencing luxury without guilt, without buying something and crying when I walk out of the store. I know that some of you that have been listening from the beginning have heard that story. Giving yourself permission to say yes. Creating memories with the people that you love or alone. Having rest that's part of your lifestyle. Being able to unplug, sit on the couch with your family, have a quiet day, and not worrying about talking to a client or chasing the next big thing that's going to bring some kind of payoff to you. It truly means living in alignment with your values. Now, if hustle is part of your values, I get it. It is mine too. And it doesn't mean that that's wrong. It just means that you're enjoying your money with intention and that you're in alignment. Wealth is not just numbers. It's peace, it's joy, it's time, it's alignment. It's doing the things that fill your cup because you are able to. It's leaving a legacy, and most importantly, it's creating impact by all of the things I just mentioned. People are watching. Make the impact because you could be changing someone else's life without even knowing it. The more that I built these habits into my life, the more wealthy I felt long before the numbers ever caught up. You have to pay attention, make the adjustments, build the habits, and watch everything change. So, as we close out this episode, I want you to remember that wealth is not just a number. In fact, it isn't even a number. It's a rhythm. It's built through habits that support you, that empower you, and absolutely will remind you of the woman that you're becoming. And don't forget the woman that you were and how proud she would be of the woman that you are. These 7 habits we just talked about, they changed my life. They've changed my confidence and my financial future. And they can absolutely do the same for you. Now, if I haven't already mentioned this to someone listening, Women in Wealth, the community, is where we teach you step by step how to keep more of what you earn, grow it intentionally, and build your wealthy woman life with clarity and confidence. Remember, you don't have to do this alone. You shouldn't do it alone. Find your people, find your community, and go after this with a fierceness that your 80-year-old self will thank you for. As always, thank you so much for spending a piece of your day with me, and let's continue to change the way women think and feel about money together.